Contributions. I'm sure that at some point you heard or thought about contributing to a project or to invite people to help you with your project. And there's always something that troubles me when seeing someone else's code, is that I can't understand jack shit. Or being more specific, I don't know where to start, where to touch, where to not touch, how does A relates to B, or even the conventional style to get my pull request accepted. That can be disorienting. If you watch my videos and checked out both my projects, Chrono and Envy, while they're not perfectly documented, I think it's fair to say that they have a better documentation and guidance in comparison with other small open source projects. And while I'm not an expert, I think you should hear me out on how to document your code better. This will not only help you and your contributors, but when you feel lost about something, you can always go back to the documentation and know what and why it does what it does. So, let's get to it. Let's start with navigation. A map or navigation.md file are files that help the user navigate through your codebase to help understand where to find stuff in your project. That can be a class, a module, or even a sub-project. This file is super helpful for someone outside your team. It helps find stuff easily and get to know the codebase quickly. Also helps people find your shitty code and roast the fuck out of it for whatever reason. Plus, it makes maintainers keep a clean and organized architecture, create it, map it, and commit it. It's a good practice I read in some article, and ever since it stuck with me. Now let's talk about specifications. Specifications in a codebase act as a formal, structured plan or blueprint that defines what the system should do, how it should behave, and its design constraints. They serve as a single source of truth that bridges the gap between human intent and machine implementation, ensuring consistency, reliability, and clear communication among developers, stakeholders, and testers. This one I particularly learned from Oglo the Nerd. For projects like my programming language, this is very useful to get to know the front end of your project. Not only that, for contributors, it will save them a lot of time rather than just finding out stuff on their own. In a project, this can be language grammar, API contracts, module responsibilities, and more. Now about contributions. I believe this one is a more known practice because even Git hosting platforms support it. The contribution file allows you, the owner of the repository, to impose rules on how contributions work on your project. Normally, there are sections like how to start contributing. This section is always important for new contributors to get started. Do's and don'ts, what you should and shouldn't be doing when working in this project, how to propose changes, how to make your first issue, how to make a pull request, and much more. Be detailed as you can on this one. You can even pair it with a wiki. Speaking of wiki, a wiki is a built-in documentation system that provides a collaborative space to create, organize, and share project information in your code. It's like the central of documentation in a project available online. This one is for actual guides, tutorials, and design discussions. Wikis are for more interactive, less technical things related to the project, whereas the others serve a more technical purpose. README files have been around even before I was born. It became mandatory for a project to have this. My point is, your README can be very influential on how people see your code. After all, it's the landing page of your project. People can tell whether it's a good project or not just based off a README. That's crazy, dude. And don't limit yourself to just one. If you have sections of your code that require attention from the user, let them know by adding a README file there too. A changelog is a chronological file that logs all notable changes made to the project, such as new features, bug fixes, enhancements, and deprecated items. It acts as a project history for developers and users to easily track updates, usually ordered from newest to oldest. They are a well-known standard few people follow. just recently added one to my project. Comments are a quick description of what you see, like this piece of code in front of you does this, returns this line in specific does this, and most importantly, why it does this. They are practically mandatory in a collaborative project because the code you write isn't as clever as you think it is. Even you, from a few months from now, can look at a past function you wrote and be like, how the hell does this even work? Personally, I like to be very descriptive in the documentation I write, so I don't have to write a lot of comments. But write them comments. They are really helpful. And to end this rant, I wanna say, be as specific as possible. Again, people are not as smart as you think they are, and your code is not as clever as you think it is. People will have questions about your code, so it's important to document everything. Documentation is not an extra, it's mandatory. Being specific about the code you write is just as important as writing it, for them and for yourself. Believe me, I've been through it enough times. You might have to come back to a section you haven't touched since March last year to make a breaking change to something that just needed a small update on an edge case, and now you broke everything and you genuinely forgot how it works. So, for the future self, do it. Document it. Write that shit down. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and see you on my time.